PGA Championship, it tees off tomorrow, and this segment here is just a tease, about a 5.5 hour tease until the slate tonight. Highest rated edition of the slate at 5 o'clock with Reid Fowler and Geoff Ulrich. Tomorrow's tournament is obviously such a big deal, guys, that we have to talk betting angles a little earlier ahead of the slate. So PGA Championship, Southern Hills Country Club in Oklahoma there. Wait, so did I see, Reid, this morning, is the weather going to be like all over the place? I heard some like crazy gusts.
Yeah, we have weatherman Ulrich posting out windfinder.com some of the forecasts, and it's true. We've had some big tournaments, right? Like the Players, the Masters have been affected by weather. So I think a lot of us have some PTSD with this specifically.
Terrible.
Everyone says, right, like the weather's changed every day. Like all of us who looked at the weather and claim ourselves that we know what's going to happen, it's changed every day. But the consensus right now is that it's going to be windy on Thursday afternoon through Friday, gusts up to 35 miles per hour. Oh. So yeah, you better be considering it a little bit just because of what happened in the last two big tournaments that we've had so far this season.
Yeah, never forget that like crazy windy day too at TPC Sawgrass. Justin Thomas was one of the guys who actually posted a bogey-free round there. I think Bubba Watson did as well. Ulrich, end of round one leader. This bet. This is something we discussed yesterday, given the history at this course. Rory is the favorite now at plus 2,000. Who is your bet in this category?
Why is it Louis?
Sorry, I'm just finishing up my weather model here. Just running the stats one more time here just to make sure. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I think for Thursday, first round leader bets, I really do think that you should be targeting the early wave. Reid is obviously correct. We're talking about weather here. It's a natural phenomenon. As much as I like to think I'm an expert in all things, it's pretty hard to get in Mother Nature's head and predict things, how they're going to change on an hour-to-hour basis. But, when you're looking at guys who are teeing off early, potentially just going to get a little bit easier conditions on Thursday, and maybe it does end up as being a big wave split, maybe it doesn't. But I do think that Thursday morning is going to be a little bit calmer. If you want somebody out early, you've got Jordan Spieth at plus 2,500. And if I was betting one of the top guns to come out and lead at the end of round one, that's who I would take. I would take Jordan Spieth. He's got a great history of shooting low rounds in the first round of major championships, just being in contention early. But there's definitely other angles you can take. Alex Noren, a guy I like a lot, playing really good golf. He's available at big odds. Matt Kuchar, another player whose putter is really hot right now. I could absolutely see Matt Kuchar in a little bit calmer conditions where ball striking isn't as big a deal, get hot with that putter for a round. So I think that there's numerous ways to play this, but you're asking me, like one person I got to take, I'm going to take Jordan Spieth plus 2,500.
Yeah, it's second best odds there, Fowler. Who are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Cameron Smith is another guy that I like, who's dominated in weather, dominated. I feel like, well, for the most up-to-date updates. So Cameron Smith is another guy that I like, just because we can see that locks, those flowing locks, just flutter in the
screams
wind.
Jacksonville Beach, doesn't it?
Oh, geez. If there was one golfer to be the poster child for Jack's Beach, it's Cameron Smith. But if there's one player that could buck those trends, guys, Brooks Koepka is at plus 7,500 to be the leader after round one. That is absurd. Have you seen what this guy has done in first rounds at major tournaments? He's basically got a top five or has led after the first round in 10 of his last majors, right? It's crazy. That's don't quote me on that, but it's pretty close. So Brooks Koepka, he is in the afternoon wave. That's the one thing, right? I think he tees off around 1 o'clock or a little bit after that. But he's at plus 7,500 right now. And what's great about the DK Sportsbook is it also gives you top fives for after the round one, and he's at plus 800. If it's not attacking that first wave, I do like Brooks Koepka in that afternoon wave at plus 7,500.
All right, you could also bet on tournament matchups, dudes, which you guys know. So that has like two golfers head to head. Which tournament matchup bet do you like best right now, Reid?
It's Max Homa. It's Homa over Haddon at even money plus 100. Look what this guy's done, right? If you're going back to the fantasy grinds trends, because he's a trends monster, you'll see that, winners in the regular season have boded well in major tournaments, especially at the PGA Championship. And what has Homa done so far, right? He just won. And it was something that we've seen quite a bit on a difficult course. Again, it wasn't extremely windy, but it was weather struck at the Wells Fargo. And what has this guy done since the start of the season but win and then put up really good rounds in difficult conditions? I think Hatton is sort of an enigma, kind of how I'm treating Viktor Hovland. I just don't really know where his game's at right now, even though he's been hitting it fairly well in these tournaments. But Max Homa right now, I think, is just a little bit above him and plus money as well. So give me Homa over Hatton.
Geoff, did you mention Homa earlier?
I didn't, not on this show, but
Okay.
I don't mind taking Homa in matchups against Hatton. I think that's a round one bet actually for matchups. I think he's matched up against Kokrak for the tournament matchup, but he's at minus 155. So I'm not going to go that deep. There's a couple bets I certainly don't hate here for tournament matchups. Matt Kuchar is a player. He's just playing well. And when Matt Kuchar gets confident, and I think, again, we've got small greens, tough green structures. Like I can't emphasize enough. Like I think a lot of these veteran players who are in good form, like a Matt Kuchar, are going to play well this week. And he's up against Joaquin Niemann. And, Niemann, he didn't strike the ball that well last week. It's not that I don't like Niemann, but Matt Kuchar is plus 105 versus Niemann in a tournament matchup. And, if Niemann if the ball striking doesn't bounce back here, he's not quite as equipped for around the greens as Kuchar here. So I think that you could definitely see Kuchar grind out a win there. I definitely like that one. Daniel Berger too, not getting much respect here. He just never gets respect in the odds. He's plus 100 to go up against, Emerson's favorite son, Billy Horschel. I'll take Berger at plus money over Billy Horschel, basically in any event at any time in any scenario. So give me Daniel Berger plus 100 in a tournament matchup over Billy Ho as well.
Oh my God, man. Billy Ho slander.
We'll discuss that on the slate because I agree. Daniel Berger is fine and long iron proximity, win player. Yeah, he checks out, but I'll take Billy Ho over, or not every single tournament.
Thank you.
You've become indoctrinated by all your visits to Jacksonville. It's really sad.
Hey, they're both Florida guys.
You drink the water down there, Geoff.
Yeah, it's true. Guys, if you look under tournament props on the DK Sportsbook, you're going to find a category called top finish parlays where you can go bet on certain golfers, all finishing top 5, top 10, or top 20. For example, there's a bet at plus 11,000 for Koepka, Tiger, and Spieth to all finish top 10. We've already talked a little bit about Koepka and Spieth. I feel like in that bet alone, Tiger's the biggest wild card, but which of these bets make sense to you, Reid?
Yeah, I'm looking at Hideki, Lowry, and Smith top 10 at plus, I believe, 5,000. Again, I like Cam Smith to win this. I think Hideki is playing extremely well. I also like him to win this. And what has Shane Lowry done in his last stroke play events, right? If not top, I think it's top 3 in the past 2 events that he's played. So, and look, Shane Lowry could win this. I think he's also someone that we like in terms of how he's playing. And all 3 of these players possess, a lot of winning upside. And at plus 5,000, if you think that it's a little bit more difficult for these guys to actually to bet outright and to win, top 10 at plus 5,000, we've seen all 3 of these players play extremely well. Hideki, shot a 62 on Sunday and is just elite with that 5-wood. And Cameron Smith, again, is someone that could have, competed a little bit more on Sunday if it weren't for that triple bogey on 12 at Augusta. But a win at the Players and a top 3 at Augusta National for Cam Smith is fantastic. And Lowry, too. Lowry played fantastic at Augusta. So give me that one at plus 5,000.
Okay, Geoff, what do you want to do here in this category? It's a little unique.
Yeah, no, it is. But there's some interesting things here. I mean, if you like a group of players, and you can also play the waves a little bit here. Again, I'll go down a little bit in odds and go to plus 3,500. Schauffele, Spieth, and Cantlay all to finish in the top 10 at plus 3,500. You've got Schauffele and Spieth teeing off in the early group. Now, Cantlay isn't, but Cantlay also like a pretty good win player. He won he won out in Vegas the year. It was basically gusting 50 miles per hour the entire time. So plus 3,500 for Schauffele, Spieth, and Cantlay, like 3 guys who have won since Augusta. I'll take that. I actually really like that play. And then for a top 20 parlay, how about Rahm, Hovland, Garcia, and Alex Noren, all top 20 finishes. Garcia, super consistent, making cuts, underrated coming in here, actually struck the ball really well in his last start. I like Alex Noren. Then we got Rahm and Hovland, basically top 20 every major. Plus 7,500. Dial it up, folks. That's the top 20 parlay you want to target this week.
DK Sportsbook just sees Geoff's article and says, "Oh, he's touting Alex Noren. Let me put a little Alex Noren bet in here just to entice the guy."
That's the impact.
That's definitely a bet that they made for me.
What about your favorite make miss cut for the PGA Championship, Ulrich? Tiger's obviously a big name out there this week. To make cut, he's minus 130. To miss cut, plus 100. Where do you want to go here?
So, I mean, like I cut. This is again, we've got the weather splits. So why not play that? You know, you could even make a couple different weather type of parlays, but you're getting some really big odds, obviously, on the good players to miss the cut. Who are some of the guys going off like later who maybe like, you know, don't have the greatest draw, and then also like maybe aren't coming in with like the greatest form? Dustin Johnson is at plus 160. Joaquin Niemann is at plus 160. I like those players long term, but you know, they might be on the wrong side of the draw, and you can get bigger odds on them at plus 160. Why not even go deeper and look at a guy like a John Rahm or a Justin Thomas to fill out the parlay there? And I mean, you know, again, like we're in a major championship. Guys are going to implode. These greens are super undulating. The wind is going to be up. Like, I'm sorry, but there is going to be some carnage this week. I absolutely believe. And John Rahm, you know, the putter has been really up and down for him. So, you know, if I'm looking at Thomas or Rahm, I may even just take John Rahm to miss the cut this week. It's not going to happen very often, but if he's on the wrong side of the draw, if he's ever going to miss a cut at the major, it's probably going to be in a situation like this. So, you know, give me like a triple parlay here with three of those guys going off on Thursday afternoon and at bigger odds.
All right, Reid Fowler. Talk to me, Goose.
Duly noted that John Rahm hater, thinks he's the worst golfer in the world. So
plus 1,400 to win this week too.
Yeah,
and then you had a reaction when he mentioned Justin Thomas. Was your reaction there like I agree, ooh, or like wow, you're brave?
He's like that Elmo gif with the fire. He's just chaos.
My weather model guys, it's just screaming at me, fade this Thursday PM group. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Unlike Geoff, negative Nancy, I'm positive Polly over here. I'm doing to make the cut parlays here. And let's add Jeff's favorite player, Billy Horschel, in this one with Canadia's favorite son, not Mike Weir, but Corey Connors, a little Homa, and Hideki at plus 275 to all make the cut. I think Billy Ho does. I think, look, his short game, Geoff, you just talked about it. This guy's one of the best in the short game this season. Billy Ho, like he's top 30, top 40 in scrambling, top 20 in sand saves. He's top 15, I believe, in around the greens, or top 30 in around the greens.
He's first in yelling at fans too.
And hey, even more so. Not a lot of people are going to be following him because a lot of people are going to be following that Rory group with Tiger and Spieth. So even better. And then Cam Smith, Jordan Spieth, Brooks, and Lowry to make the cut at plus 225. Right? Like, let's get some positivity. Yes, it's going to be carnage, but let's get some positivity out here in the world to make the cut, not to miss. Even though Geoff has a point, there's value on missing the cut for those big names.